Good evening. Today we are looking at how we can solve quadratic equations using the formula. And the question we are considering reads, solve the equation x squared plus 2x equals 7, giving your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So this one is a quadratic equation, x squared plus 2x is equal to 7. Now, if you look at how this question is, we need to change the form. The form we are usually familiar with says x squared, or rather ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So we should ensure that this equation takes on the form which is of this nature. And so that means we'll do the additive inverse for 7, which is negative 7. So if we say minus 7 this side, minus this 7 that side, it will still be the same. So in short, the 7 is taken onto the left-hand side. And because it is positive here, as we take it to the other side, it will become negative. So it becomes x squared plus 2x minus 7 is equal to 0. The quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. However, here you need to be very careful with the division line, because some learners, usually the division line starts just where there is the square root, but you need to know that it should always start right after the equal sign. So whatever is on top here, that's the numerator, the b or the negative b inclusive. So if we are to observe now, we need to pick the values according to our equation. The value for, or rather the coefficient of x squared, that is the a that we have, and the coefficient here is simply 1. So a is equal to 1. Then where there is b, that's the coefficient of x. So the coefficient of x here is 2. That is what is our b. And then the constant, which is the c, in this case we have negative 7. So that's what we have. And so we have to apply. Where there is b, we put 2, but there's a negative in the formula. Then if we put 2, it becomes negative 2 plus or minus. Again, here where there is a b, we put the same value for b, which is 2, but then according to the formula it is squared, so we square it. Minus 4 is in the formula, and then the value for a is simply 1 as we identified it. Then the value for c is negative 7, and we divide this by 2 times a. Of course, the a is the same a, which is just the 1. From there, we try to simplify it a bit. So we have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus. Here where we have 2 squared, if we square the 2, it gives us the 4 minus 4 times 1 times negative 7. It gives us negative 28. So practically here we are talking about 4 minus negative 28 as just being the sum. So we'll add these two, and if we add, we are getting 32. So it comes to negative 4, rather negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 32 over 2. So you need to get your calculator, and then from the calculator you need to find the square root of 32. So if we are to find the square root of 32, you find it is something like 5.6569. I've rounded it off to 4 decimal places before we do the final rounding off, and so it will be like that, divided by 2. Now on the plus or minus, it means x will be equal to, the first one will go with the plus, the second one will go with the minus. So let's say if the first one goes with a plus, then it will be negative 2 plus 5.6569, that is the square root of 32, divided by 2. And then if we finish it up, the other option, maybe before we finish it up, where there is a plus, we now consider the minus, because there are two signs. There is a plus, there is also a minus. So for the second option, it will be negative 2 minus 5.6569. And so it will look like this: negative 2 minus 5.6569 divided by 2. But let's first of all finish the one that has a positive. So if we add negative 2 plus 5.6569, it is giving us 3.6569. And then we divide that one by 2. When we divide it by 2, it is giving us 1.8284. Then according to the question, it said we should give our answers correct to 2 decimal places. So if we round off to 2 decimal places, the round off digit is basically the 2 here. So this one will get a value of 1. And then if we add that 1 to 2, it simply comes out as 1.83. So that is one root that we have. Then we come back to where we'll use the minus. So if we are to use the minus, you will see that negative 2 minus minus 5.6569 here, we'll just add and the answer will be negative. So it's giving us negative 7.6569. We divide it by 2. It will give us negative 3.8285. And then again here, if we round off to 2 decimal places, we are just looking at 8 and 2. But because we are leaving out 8 as the first digit to be left out, which is more than 4, it has a value of 1, which will add to 2. And so this will become 3. So the final answer will simply become negative 3.83. So the two answers for this question, we have the first one, x being equal to 1.83, and the second one, negative 3.83. These are the two answers.